here against Wakefield, Steve McNamara has got them purring.
Yeah, it's close to that first 40 minutes that we witnessed over at Bolton a couple of years ago. And Wakefield haven't done themselves any favours. I don't think they've got the defensive organisation and their communication sorted, particularly on that right edge. They've also been the victim of some unfortunate injuries as well, and they face a 40 minutes now with just one substitute rotation. And you're looking at the men they've got on the field, the Navarretes, the Tangatas, the Kopchaks and the Fafitas. There's going to have to be some big minutes put in by those players. You see Kopchak on the bench, the only one available to come back on and contribute.
Battieri up to halfway already in this opening set for the Catalan Dragons. McAlorum to Tompkins, and he's got space already here, Sam Tompkins. He's got support from Mead, and it's going to be a hat-trick for Tom Davis. What a performance this has been from Sam Tompkins. What a performance it's been from Tom Davis, and what a performance it's been from the Catalan Dragons. 5 tries in 2 games for Tom Davis for the Dragons.
Well, he's the linchpin, isn't he? Sam Tompkins shadowing his former Wigan teammate. You can just see him hovering about at the back of the ball there. Michael McAlorum has no qualms offloading that ball, even though there's a little bit of risk to it. He knows his fullback is good enough to catch it, and then as soon as he gets it in his possession, well, he just drops the hammer. The accelerator is pressed. He weighs up the situation perfectly. A nice floated pass to David Mead, who puts another former Wigan player in that right corner for his hat-trick.
Well, some Catalan Dragons fans who seem to have missed the start of the second half, but they'll get back and they'll realise that they've gone in again. Wakefield Trinity fans frustrated at the way they started. I mentioned in the first half, Pikey, that maybe they didn't need to score in the next 5 minutes. Maybe they didn't need to score in that first half, but they needed to be the next to score. And now this could potentially get ugly for Trinity, because the Catalan Dragons look to me to be in particularly ruthless mood.
This could be a hefty, heavy defeat for Wakefield. Maloney, another beauty from the boot of James Maloney. So Catalan stretch their leads to 30 points to nil. It was oh so easy for Tom Davis.
Yeah, and it was a genuine hat-trick as well. 3 tries scored by the same player in succession, and he's had a hand in all 3 as Sam Tompkins. And David Mead passes the final ball to Davis for that 3rd. It's a hat-trick of tries for the former Wigan winger.
And it's a first career hat-trick for Tom Davis as well. What a shrewd signing he's looking like being for Steve McNamara. 2 tries against Castleford, 3 now against Wakefield, and who knows how many more he may score today. It looks like being one of those days, doesn't it?
Well, how lucky is he to be in this side that's blessed with players like David Mead, who's provided the opportunities this afternoon, and Falau, of course, doesn't make the side, but Steve McNamara having a wealth of options available to him in those back line and back division positions.
Bousquet driving into the Wakefield half of the field. Here is Jimmy Maloney. It's another teaser, a real teaser, and in the end it's picked up by Ryan Hampshire. I'm not quite sure that Bill Tupu really knew what to do then. He left it to Hampshire.
That's an indicator, isn't it? You want a strong call from your fullback. You want somebody dominant saying, that is my ball, and both centre and standing fullback. Well, the communication, there's not too much in terms of crowd noise for us to listen to. We couldn't hear too much up here on our elevated position. Well, bit of pushing, bit of shoving. Michael McAlorum with Navarrete, is it?
Reece Lynn, but nothing doing. Wood at dummy half, and look where the kick is coming from. Picked up by Tompkins midway inside his own half, and the pressure has been relentless from Catalan every time that Wakefield have had the ball, and the pattern of the first half seems to be evolving again here.
Yeah, and they're finishing the sets particularly well. You know, they've got a number of kicking options, but James Maloney obviously the primary go-to man, and he finished again. You saw where that Wakefield started their set. You know, if there's a coaching manual and there's a kicking section and there's a box in the field where you want to start your sets, well, that's where Catalan did.
Drinkwater put down by Samisoni Langi. Relief for Wakefield, you have to say, because Catalan have been relentless, haven't they? OK, well, let's see what the two coaches have had to say. I would think it'd be pure and simple by Steve McNamara, and Chris Chester would have had a heck of a lot of work to do. Here's Gemma.
Thanks, Stuart. Chris Chester didn't have a lot to say to me at half-time. He just said that they're one desperate team out there. Tony Gigo won't return. Neither will Lee Kershaw. He's gone for the game as well. Kalepi Tanganoa is touch and go. Steve McNamara, you can imagine, really pleased with the physical start. He acknowledged some brilliant combinations out there. He did say that the last 15 minutes of the first half, their attack, they made a number of errors. He wants to limit those in this second half.
Well, he might be able to limit them for now, but what a terrific tackle from Tompkins that had to be as well. It was Tangata who was going through the first real proper clean break that I can imagine, and then it's followed by an error. Here comes Tompkins now. I'm not sure he has the legs, has he, Sam Tompkins? Shadowed there by Miller, but he's got support if he needs it. Inside from Drinkwater, brilliant pass from Tompkins. Drinkwater puts it over here for Davis. Davis, can he come up with the ball? Well, in the end, Wakefield will get the ball, but I think it may well have been a Wakefield player knocking the ball down, but scintillating from Catalan after yet another Wakefield mistake.
That's a confident side, Catalan Dragons there. They kick that ball into space. He's looking for Tom Davis as he makes that break. Sam Tompkins weighing everything up. He knows ultimately he's going to get caught by Jacob Miller. Finds a pass eventually. And what about this for a kick? Left-footed into the space. The ball isn't quite the right one and the fortunate one that Catalan Dragons want, but they'll get possession back and more pressure being piled on this sorry Wakefield side.
Yeah. The ball ricocheting off the hands of Jay Pitts. His 30, about to become 36 for the Catalan Dragons. Well, it could well be, and that's an easy try for Julien Bousquet. It really was that easy as well, and they are running riot. Bousquet, who is on course to make 200 appearances for Catalan this season, well, he's just scored another try, and as Barry and John have already said, this could be anything. Yeah, and
there's a real element of fatigue to that one. Well, yes, there's a big man played on to a little man from Michael McAlorum, and good starting positions again from Bousquet. If there's been a marked improvement, and the Dragons fans may see this as well, if there's been a marked improvement in this Catalan Dragons side, it's the start points. It's where they're positioning players before the play starts. So I talked in the first half about the width of the back rowers and the centres and the discipline it takes to keep that width. It would have been the easiest thing in the world for Bousquet to creep in there and to try and take a short ball from Michael McAlorum. And these things are natural for players to want to get closer to the ball. It takes real discipline to keep the line they've got, and he was rewarded for that.
Discipline and trust. Michael McAlorum, he has that communication, he has that understanding from his players around him that he's going to find them, run at the space, run where I want you to run, and I'll find you with that pass. The spine of this team, it's the first time that they've strung anything like the minutes on the field. What are we on here now? 48 minutes, nobody's gone off. And the 1, 6, 7 and 9, albeit Sam Tompkins in 29, is just outstanding this afternoon for the Dragons.
As Maloney makes it 6 out of 7 with the boost, and it's 36 points to nil as the pain continues for Wakefield, who've still got half an hour to go to try and survive.
You can see it's going to be a tough afternoon for the Wakefield Trinity fans.
Yeah, just Bousquet and his starting points. You talked, Barry, about allowing Michael McAlorum to get over from the dummy half position. And Bousquet is able to stand that little bit wider and hit that angle back against the grain, against the defensive grain. Have a look at this. So Bousquet standing there, and he allows Michael McAlorum to come to him. Real discipline, real patience.
Big Sam Cassiano barging off the challenge there. of Adam Tangata. Tom Davis, hat-trick hero, on only his second appearance for the Catalan Dragons. 36 points to nil, still half an hour to go, and a penalty given. Barry away to my left, shaking his head in despair.
You want Wakefield, don't you, for the match to remain interesting. You want Wakefield to try and get into some kind of receive the ball, make the meters that they want, then get into a little bit of an arm wrestle in terms of attack and defence, but they're making it too difficult for themselves here. If they continue to defend set after set after set, it's going to be a long afternoon, Whitley, if it isn't already.
Here is the try scorer, Busquets, and they're threatening once again. Oh, great movement, mistake. Maloney to Joel Tompkins. Tompkins couldn't hold the ball, and that'll be a turnover. Wakefield will get the ball back close to their own try line. 36 points to nil, and again a little bit of relief for Wakefield Trinity. Even
when they make the mistake, so the mistake is made by Tompkins, there's nowhere for the standing fullback Rocky Hampshire to go. The red shirts of the Catalan Dragons players aren't dwelling on the mistake that's been made. They think about getting hold of that Wakefield player. They'll get possession. There's nothing to be gained other than it, again, being a good show of attitude.
Well, it's now 76 unanswered points for the Catalan Dragons after their 40 against Castleford, 36 here. And I guess uppermost in Steve McNamara's mind, they like to nil opponents, the coaches, don't they? And it's been 4 years since the Catalan Dragons managed to nil an opponent. That was OKR, and Wakefield here with Jay Pitt trying to make sure that doesn't happen today. Pitt cuts inside, brought down, but possibly the best that we've seen with ball in hand from Wakefield so far this afternoon. Tangata it is, and nowhere to go. Hampshire looking for a way through. Wood as well, and does well. Can Wakefield score?
Have a look at this offload there, really late in the tackle from David Fafita. Can he spark something? The last tackle played, have got one shot, the Dragons here.
Wood it is, can't get the ball out, and it will be the turnover.
No is the answer to your question, Wells.
In a word,
he had some kind of shape. You could see where the energy and the urgency in defence for the Catalan Dragons put that little bit of doubt, and that's what Chris Chess is saying. Play.
That's a frustrated, disappointed, angry rugby league coach.
There was a scaffolding pole that came to the rescue of Sky Sports there as well, because I reckon there's some fairly unsavoury language going on from Chris Chester's mouth. He cuts a really frustrated figure, and why not?
Well, you can understand, can't you? But you know, if there's a good kick downfield, is it? The chase is on, and what a lovely kick, brilliant from this time from Josh Drinkwater. Yeah, the point you made in the first half, the options that they have with the right-footed Maloney and the left-footed Drinkwater, and they've also got Sam Tompkins with the kick on the last if they want, and the variation that they have at their disposal.
And you just contrast that to what Wakefield have got. They've got players playing out of position, and you think about how they ended last week's game against Wigan, how they really challenged that result. Ultimately, they lost by just the 1 point. It was a drop goal by Wigan, and there's another injured player. No luck this afternoon for Trinity.
You had confirmation, Barry, that we know that they've lost Guijo and Kershaw, and that was Kalepi Tanganoa that we caught a glimpse of with a rib injury, and he won't be coming back either. So the woes of Wakefield go from bad to worse. They've got 14 fit players, and there's still, 26 minutes to go. They're 36 points to nil down, and I wonder what Tony Guijo on the left there is thinking. Of course, playing against his former club.
Oh, no.
Now there's a possible injury to David Fafita, and it really is turning into be a sorry afternoon for Wakefield Trinity.
You've got a degree of sympathy as well, haven't you? I mean, there's no look at all. Have a look at David Fifita get caught underneath Michael McAlorum. It's the left ankle. Just as he goes and pushes, you see the weight there of the tackler. Fortunately, he's up and moving around, and he looks like he's going to be able to continue. He's going to have to continue. They've got very, very little in the way of options. Just looking at the Catalan Dragons, yes, they've scored 72 unanswered points, but you know, the flip side to that, we talk about the points scored, it's the points not conceded as well. That's going to do their plus column an awful lot of good, and that'd be really important in a season with a lot of congested fixtures still to come.
It was interesting, wasn't it, when Jenna was interviewing Christian Wolf after they hammered Leeds to 0. What pleased you the most, the 48 points or the 0? And each coach will always say
never
the 0.
Never ask a coach which part he's going to be more pleased with, because one, he'll tell you there's always improvement, and two, it'll tell you it's the duck egg.
There we go, that's better. Better line speed there from Wakefield. Kopchak, oh sorry, Westerman, should I say, trying to lead the line. And listen, those of us that have played this game, we've been in games like this, we've been in positions like this when you're on the wrong end of a scoreline. What you don't want to be is you don't want to be embarrassed after the game when you sat round looking at your teammates. You don't want to be the one that you feel like you've given up. So these Wakefield Trinity players will keep trying.
Right, a good tackle from Pitts on Mead, it had to be as well. There was plenty of enthusiasm in that, but on the last, and this is great hands. Tompkins looking to offload to Cassiano. There's a huge gap on that far side, and Whitley, has he managed to get the ball down? Yaha, I think he has, yes. It wasn't the best of passes, you have to say, from Matt Whitley, but found Yaha, picked it up brilliantly to score. It's 40-0, and it's another Catalan Dragons try on what's turning out to be a brilliant afternoon for Steve McNamara's side.
We've got players in the red shirts flooding forward. Nothing guaranteed, they're not sure what's going to happen, but what they're going to do is put themselves in the frame, in a position to take advantage of everything that's available to them. Matt Whitley, he ends up with the ball. He has two options. He has the centre and the winger. A lovely offload again from the fullback Tompkins. You can see him, he's looking at the defender Kay. He plays a no-look pass, and the centre doesn't really take control of it, Lange. But luckily for the Dragons and the supporters watching back in Perpignan, the ball bounces, Fouad Yaha gets a try.
I'll tell you what, Yaha did brilliantly there, didn't he?
Yeah, I think a lot was made of the build-up play, in particular the ball from Cassiano. He continues to impress, doesn't he, with his ball handling skills there. But yeah, it's no easy finish for Fouad Yaha, because the ball he had to pick up on the half volley. There's always a temptation to snatch at it, particularly when the try line is so close to you. They just showed a little bit of patience. Been in that position myself. I've been in that position myself, and it's the easiest thing in the world to snatch at that and go early. And he showed a bit of experience there and a bit of patience. And they bring up the 40. Well, and this man, as good as he's been with the boot, you would not bet against him getting this from the sideline.
Well, Fouad Yaha, he scored tries in 5 of the Catalans' 7 games so far this season. It could be another successful conversion from James Maloney. Well, the 2 he's missed have hit the post. Disappointed he's missed. 40 points to 0. And an interested spectator, of course, the Warrington coach, Steve Price. Huddersfield against Warrington to come next here on Sky Sports Arena. All the Warrington players will be keeping a keen eye on this, because what they are seeing is a Catalan Dragons side who are going to challenge for the top 4 without a shadow of a doubt at the end of the season. 80 unanswered points now for the Dragons in the last game and a half. And for Wakefield, it really is a case of damage limitation. Well, they're up to the short kick-off, and that might just have gone out over the 10-metre line. So the short kick-off did pay off. Desperate times, desperate measures, but Wakefield have the ball back, trailing by 40 points to 0.
Only just good enough, that kick. It means that Trinity get hold of this ball. They'll have a crack.
10 seconds.
Everybody again using the time available to them.
One, move, square, hold.
millimetres in it.
It was. Here come J. Pitts. Wakefield looking for some consolation, and they've got a penalty as well.
It's a late challenge there. Catalan Dragons taking out the ball carrier from Wakefield as he passed the ball. The referee didn't like the contact.
Wait.
Michael McAlorum again.
Well, can they get some points on the board? Worst possible afternoon, losing 3 players to injury. I'm sure some of the ones out there for Chris Chess at the moment are totally 100% fit. We're seeing David Fafita get an injury as well. But this, possibly as close as Wakefield had been the entire afternoon. Miller, Ashes looking for a way through, but brilliant, resolute defence from James Maloney. But it's 6 to go. They will play on. Maloney hanging on just a little bit too much there on Matty Asher. So a great chance for Wakefield to finally put some points on the board. And Miller trying to find a way through. Catalan desperate to keep them to nil. Kopchak again just short of the try line. Is this going to be the moment for Chris Chester and Wakefield? Wood looking to scribble, but no joy again for Josh Wood. They're running out of tackles. Kopchak at dummy half. Here is Miller. He will try and swing it out to the right-hand side. Hampshire it is with the kick through, but too much on it, too heavy. And another chance goes a-begging for Wakefield, and it really is turning out to be one of those days.
It's a tired effort, isn't it, from Wakefield? That ball needed to go from Josh Wood. He just hesitated half a second, and then the door was slammed shut, and Catalan Dragons, credit to them, an hour gone. They look full of energy. A lot of the players look like they haven't played a game.
Well, they've played 59 of the 60 minutes on the front foot, and that makes all the difference. It means that it's the difference between kicking from the front foot, and it's why one of the reasons why James Maloney and Josh Drinkwater look like they've had all the time in the world. They're excellent kickers of a football anyway, but they're being done a real service by this pack, this workmanlike pack. And they're not perfect. They're not perfect, Stuart. No, they are. They do concede possession. They do still have mistakes in them.
According to our stats, Wakefield Trinity actually have a better completion rate. And that's phenomenal when you look at that scoreboard. 40 points to nil. 67% Wakefield Trinity, and the Dragons are less than that. So, as you said, Wellesley, they're not perfect. Whitley loses control of this ball. Good contact from the front row at Tangata. He dislodges the ball for his side to get possession. Oh yeah, it's the same player that's on the floor, and Matt Whitley probably.
Well, let's say at the outset that was accidental from Whitley. I think players are really aware of opposition heads now, because this is a really dangerous and vulnerable position for the head to be put in. There's no fault there for Whitley. No. It's just unfortunate that he's fallen backwards, but that's a really painful.
And McAlorum is pulling the player towards the ground by the scruff of the neck. Matt Whitley, well, he's the player that just made the mistake. He's trying to get involved.
They're not good. The head feels like a bowling ball at that point. You get the neck ligament stretched. That's a really painful one.
Tangata okay, and Wakefield will try again. And Hampshire brought down. Good tackle from Maloney. Barry McDermott will be choosing our man of the match. He's got a fair few candidates to choose from as well on that Catalan Dragons side. Miller again, Wood involved. Hampshire and Reece Lynn on the far side for Wakefield. 19 minutes to go. Kay from the wing. Oh, and just about holding on there, Jacob Miller. Still got a couple of tackles left in this set. Looking for points on the board. Looking for consolation. Played quickly by Kopchak, and the ball goes backward off Reece Lynn and pounced on just about by Liam Kay. But again, solid defence from the Catalan Dragons. Westerman puts up the little kick and it comes off Maloney. I think he was actually barged off the ball in mid-air, so a penalty to the Catalan Dragons, and yet again they keep Wakefield at bay as they look for their first shutout in 4 years in Super League.
Well, number 29 for Catalan Dragons, we talked about his involvements in attack, but because there's no crowd here, we can hear everything that's being said. We can hear everything, and the player I'm talking about, Sam Tompkins, we can hear everything he is saying, the way he's organising his defensive line, the way he's communicating with everybody around the threat, which is the ball, but the way he's moving, pushing, pulling all the players out of position, late retreaters. It's a real masterclass by a player that, as we've said, hasn't played for 5 months.
Let me ask you then, we talked about Catalan possibly, well, they will go into the top 4 after this victory. Are they real contenders for the semi-final?
Well, I did say at the start of the year, and everything's changed in recent times, obviously. We don't need to keep talking about why things have changed, but with the personnel, we say it year in, year out, they have such a wealth of options. Steve McNamara, the Catalan Dragons coach, is not without his critics, but Bernard Gouache holds his nerve, believes in his squad, believes in his coach, and if they can string performances like this, forget the scoreboard, but if they can play in the same way, same fashion, a little bit better completion rate, but with the same accuracy, the same execution, then they're going to challenge everybody in this division.
You concur, John?
Yes, in a word I do. I think they've had a high degree of turnover over the last 3 or 4 seasons in players, but what has happened now, they seem to have found a mix of new signings and players who are entering the second and third year of real quality. I mean, Sam Tompkins was a huge signing for the Catalan Dragons. They've gone and done that again with James Maloney and Israel Folau this year. And Israel Folau signed again, hasn't he? Maloney's here in a long-term deal. You know, these are important signings in key positions for them. And these guys stay fit and stay healthy. They are extremely talented individuals, and they raise the level of the rest of the side as well. And that's not to denigrate the abilities and the skill set of the rest of that team, but they need an accomplished spine. It looks like they've got one.
Yeah, Brickwater again with a really good kick, and Yaha offloads it. Brilliant from Found Yaha. Whitney gets it second. It's another Catalan try. Chris Kendall, the referee, will send it upstairs to our video referee Marcus Griffiths to have a look at, but it looks like Matt Whitley has scored another try, but what about the leap from Found Yaha?
Well, it's the onside offside that they're having a look at. Left-footed kick.
That's fine.
Yeah, you would say
that's fine.
On the shading of the grass.
Have a look at Samisona Lange's chase here. So you've got Lange in the left centre, eyes on the ball, early leap, gets over the top of Liam Kay, takes that cleanly, and then what a presence of mind to put back on the inside to Whitley. No problems with this. This will be a try. And the Catalan Dragons will pick up the 50. They need to check there to see if there's a hand in from the bobble, and does it touch a Wakefield player? I'm confident that it doesn't. This will go to the grounding. This will be awarded. Whitley will get his second, and the Catalan Dragons, I think, from the boot of James Maloney, will bring up 50.
He does such a lot of work, Matt Whitley, all over the field, but the quality in the chase, then he holds up his run, puts himself in a position to collect that ball. It's a wonderful contribution by Lange, but the back rower, let's not forget, took his family over, really bought into the culture, lives his life the Catalan way. Look at him, on his toes. He's chasing hard, and then when it looks like he's nowhere near the ball, holds his run up and collects that ball and improves the angle as well for his kicker Maloney.
Yeah, I can't tell you how impressed I am with Lange. He gets round the attempted escort from Westerman, eyes on the ball at all times. If you're a young and up-and-coming player, an aspiring three-quarter, if you're from the south of France and you fancy a game of rugby league, go and look at what Samisona Lange did there. 100% commitment to the play. Gets the opportunity and provides one on a plate for his teammate Whitley.
And Maloney comes again. Surely it's going to be 46 points to nil, and yeah, I did Samisona Lange a disservice. It was him and not Yaha, but he was brilliantly done by Lange, and Just have a look at that. Fantastic. As you say, the key word was the awareness. He knew that he would have support, and Whitley was right there to get the try. Brilliant from Langley. Well done.
And just looking here before we get restart, Benjamin Jullien is on the field, and maybe as a precaution they've taken James Maloney off. We saw him having some work done on his calf a couple of minutes ago. He goes and sits down.
And they've tried the same kick again, Wellesley. They're looking for that sideline. And interesting, as we see the kick again.
Well, it's deemed to have broken the plane, I think, hasn't it, of 10 metres. That's why they get possession. But you get the feeling now, I mean, they could play for the next 2 or 3 hours and not breach this Catalan Dragons defence. Look really comfortable, don't they?
I thought when Michael McAlorum was involved in that late challenge, probably 3 or 4 minutes ago, Steve McNamara may have taken him off and did the change, or done the change that he did last week. McAlorum for Benjamin Garcia, but do it in reverse. Well, those two players have been at each other all day, haven't they? Romain Navarrete and Michael McAlorum, but McNamara choosing to give him minutes. Michael McAlorum with maybe, what we got, 65 minutes on the clock, might be looking to give him a full game. It means a lot to a middleman, a full game.
Of course, and listen, we know he walks a fine line, Michael McAlorum. We've spoken to Terry O'Connor about this plenty of times. I think what you do is you accept that side of his game, and he may stray over that line every now and again, but it's what fulfills him as a person. He wears his heart on his sleeve and he plays aggressive.
Ashurst is there going to be? Maloney just twinged his calf a little, but yeah, as you say, no point taking any risk. Steve McNamara. Catalan are to succeed and win trophies this season. James Maloney is going to be a huge part of what they do. Fafita for Wakefield now. Does well, David Fafita. 6 again. So this is a great chance for Wakefield. Kopchak drives for the line, and brilliant defence again. They're desperate to mill at Wakefield here. Fafita looking for a way through, but
who is the voice?
Yeah.
Who's taking charge and control?
Wood and Miller. Kyle Wood, and again nowhere to go. Jullien with the tackle. Go the short side once more. Reece Lynn. Oh, that was disappointing for Reece Lynn. That play epitomises Wakefield on attack this afternoon.
Yeah, you're right, and it does, and there's an element there of ad hoc setup. David Fafita right at the start of the set, taking it from a standing start, and Chris Chester will be wondering, who's my general, where's my general, what's happening here? Benjamin Jullien, the latest to have taken a knock. Again, is that again another dreaded crusher tackle? He goes into contact here. It's Reece Lynn over the top. Have a look at the adjustments as Benjamin Jullien tucks his arm under. Oh dear, yeah, they're really, really painful. And as I said, players are aware, or certainly should be more aware, of where players are. And Reece Lynn, you've got to say, had the opportunity there to pull out of that and release the head of Benjamin Jullien. Can't stress how much they hurt. They're really painful.
I'm looking at Wakefield, Trinity, and the players and the defensive line as they try and organise themselves. They are well and truly shattered. The work that they've done, almost twice as many metres the Catalan Dragons have made.
Yeah, don't forget the lack of options they've got off the interchange bench. There's big men here being forced now to play into big minutes. Chris Chester's game plan, certainly in terms of the rotation interchange, went out the window a long time ago.
Yeah, in the first 10 minutes. Don't forget, still to come on this Saturday afternoon, Huddersfield against Warrington, coming up next on Sky Sports Arena. And then we've got a brilliant lineup for you on Sunday as 4:15 St Helens play Castleford, and then at 6:30 it's Wigan, I should say, against the Leeds Rhinos. Forward pass from Whitley, But Huddersfield against Warrington to come, no argument with that. Good decision from the ref.
And really looking forward to that Huddersfield-Warrington game as well. I mean, the Warrington Wolves look really smooth, particularly in that second 40 minutes against Hull Kingston Rovers last week. And then Huddersfield, well, if there's a more motivated side in Super League, I'd like to see who they are, because they certainly have a point to prove to themselves as much as anybody else following the surrender of that healthy lead inside the last 30 minutes against the Leeds Rhinos. Really looking forward to that game.
26-6 up, lost 27-26. Remarkable. One of the most remarkable comebacks in the near 25-year history of Super League. But we're not going to see any comeback of any sort from Wakefield, and you kind of got the feeling after 20 minutes that it was game over. But they're still trying. They're still looking for a consolation score. Catalan are still looking.
They're losing meters though.
Whitley's away. This could be a hat-trick for Matt Whitley. We've already seen Tom Davis with a hat-trick, and now we see Matt Whitley with a hat-trick as the Catalan Dragons hit Wakefield for 50. Mighty unanswered points in the last 2 games now for the Catalan Dragons. Woe for Wakefield. Woe for Chris Chester. Joy for the Catalan Dragons heading into the top 4 in Super League.
Yeah, great stuff from Matt Whitley. Plays predominantly as a back rower. He's in the centre now. He's played in the centre for some time. I was really impressed with his speed, endurance here. But once again, off the back of a Wakefield mistake. And you forgive them for trying to overplay at this stage in the game. They're not going on with 2 points. The game is gone. But look at that, from the 50-metre mark. Shows a clean pair of heels. Keeps a winger at bay. And he's underneath the sticks. Obviously, James Maloney's now off the field, so it'll be Sam Tompkins who deputises in the kicking role. They've got 50 up, this will be 52. Whitley's got a hat-trick. Davis has already got a hat-trick. And if you ask Steve McNamara at the end of the game which element of the game he's going to be most pleased with, you know what he's going to say.
The nil, we expect it. First hat-trick for Tom Davis, first Super League hat-trick for Matt Whitley as well.
There's been some amazing performances, hasn't there, in the Catalan Dragons outfit this afternoon. I know it's a bit early, we've got 10 minutes to go, but the player that's pulled all the strings now is influencing the referees, influenced everybody on the field. Sam Tompkins, but the latest try scorer, learned his rugby league around these parts. St Helens born and bred is Matt Whitley, a very unselfish player who's done a good job for his side today.
But James Maloney is off the field. We saw some ice on his calf. Hopefully for Catalan it's not serious. Jenna, what's the news?
Yeah, you're right. It isn't serious. I just spoke to him, of course, over the barrier, and he shook his head. He said he's fine. It's just a bit of cramp, so nothing to worry about if you're a Catalan Dragons supporter.
Plenty to worry about if you are a Wakefield Trinity supporter. Another penalty given against Chris Chester's side, 52-0, and there's still time for more. 10 minutes to go, and the way things are going, you can certainly see Catalan getting a couple more tries here as Julian drives in, and I think all the stuffing was knocked out of Wakefield in that first 20 minutes with the tries, with the injuries, and it's just been grim ever since.
Make no mistake about it, this has been an A1 performance from the Catalan Dragons as they knock on and lose possession again. It's been a poor performance from Wakefield, mitigated in part because of the enforced changes they've had to make to key personnel. But the beauty for Steve McNamara and for Catalan Dragons fans and neutral fans of the game is that there's still plenty of improvement in this Dragons side, and that's what Steve McNamara will be focusing on. When he gets asked at the end of the game what's his favourite part of the game, he'll say the nil, and then he'll say there's still plenty to work on, and there is, and that should be a worry for the rest of the Super League.
Well, we mentioned that Wakefield and Catalan play again next weekend in the Challenge Cup. After that, of course, back on Sky Sports, we have 2 big days of Super League coming from Warrington, from the Halliwell Jones, and Wakefield next game in the Super League is against Warrington, while Catalan's next game is against Wigan. I think we're all talking about the fact that we think Catalan will make the top 4. I think we'll know a lot more after they play Wigan in a fortnight's time.
Well, mark this date down in your calendar as being significant. Wakefield on the break.
Yeah, Matty Asher, has he got support from Jay Pitts?
No.
He has, but the offload, it was forward. But it may yet be a penalty Yeah, holding the player back, so Wakefield still have a chance. 7.5 minutes to go.
If you're saying that the Catalan Dragons are top form material, mark this day down in your calendar as the day that their points and for and against column was meaningfully, demonstrably changed in their favour. And I think that could, personally, that could be the difference between making one of those 4 playoff spots and missing out.
Well, they're going to kick to nil. That remains the big question with 7 minutes to go. Certainly, they are enthusiastic and remain enthusiastic in defence. Sam Moa there with the tackle. Westerman brought down, closing in on that try line. And that was the tackle from, or the pass from Reece Lynn, knocked down. And it'll be another set for Wakefield on that Catalan line. Found Yaha just getting the touch. 52-0. And I think Barry will be giving us his man of the match verdict in a couple of moments' time. But in the meantime, Catalan have some work to do in defence.
This is where Steve McNamara will be sitting forward in his seat now, because he'll be looking at the transition and the focus here on defence. They've had an awful lot of joy in attack, and the scoreboard tells you as much. He'll be looking very, very carefully about this last 6.5 minutes. Can they hold Wakefield out?
Well, there's a tip again, and it was missed by Tom Davis. But is it a knock-on against Wakefield first? It is. And another potential attack ends with nothing for Wakefield, and it'll be a very happy Steve McNamara as the minutes tick down to the Catalan Dragons nilling their opponents.
Happy McNamara. Your best guess on Chris Chester's exact state of mind is he's probably gone through all of the disappointment, frustration, feeling sorry for himself, the injuries. You've got Romain Navarrete, the number 37 for Wakefield Trinity. He's made a real nuisance of himself since he's come on the field. Catalan Dragons shooting, firing out to the line, trying to get hold of him, but the Catalan Dragon, the Trinity players that have been on from the start of the game look exhausted at the minute.
Yeah, they will be desperate for that final hooter. Ben Garcia with another run, and they just look sprightly and fresh, don't they? Gerald Tompkins to the 20 on the last. Hungry for more. Drink water with a good little kick. Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant from Samisoni Langi. Well, he made the try a little while ago for Matt Whitley, and that was brutal, and it was brilliant, and it was deserved as Samisoni Langi gets his second try.
The outstanding finish from Samisoni Langi. As I said, we saw his contribution for the Whitley try. Look at this for committed again. Eyes on the ball, committed leap. There's only one person coming down with that ball. Drink water off the left boot. Just keep your eye on Samisoni Langi. He is not questioning his ability to get up there and come down with the ball, and he thoroughly deserves the try and the reward from that. That is a committed player, a committed play. And the Dragons fans, well, what an outstanding afternoon's rugby league for them. For Trinity, well, you get to go again next week against the same opposition. I'm not sure how much is going to change in 7 days, but Langi outstanding.
We talk about Catalan in the top 4, but how about this? This has been so impressive. 56-0, kick to come, still 4 minutes to go, that the Catalan Dragons are going to the top of Super League. Albeit, mainly only briefly, maybe only till tomorrow, but this win will catapult Catalan from 5th to top spot over Wigan on points difference. Yeah,
they could very well do. Tompkins converts again. Let's have again looking at Samisoni Langi and his ability in the air. Let's take a look first at the try he's just scored. That's where he leaps and scores for himself, but the commitment there was evident 10 minutes ago. This was in the build-up to the try for Whitley. Same commitment, same eyes on the ball, same refusal to let that ball anywhere else but into his own grasp. Outstanding stuff from Lange.
Could it be the fact that Israel Folau is not in the team now? Israel Folau, that's an aspect of his game. Of course, spent some time in Aussie rules. Ooh, there's a mistake there from the kickoff, a deep kickoff.
Mistake from Sam Tompkins.
Yeah, Trinity.
That's the first time that we've said that today.
Yeah, Trinity are going to get some possession back. But the fact that Israel Folau is so good at it has meant that Sami Lange has looked at what he's done and thought, I'll have a bit of that for myself.
For me, that was a brilliant replay because his eyes were transfixed on the ball. And it didn't leave the ball.
It's the consistency as well. You know, any player's capable of doing that once a game or 2 or 3 times a month. To do it inside 10 minutes shows consistency. That shows training and an attention to detail that Barry's just talked about.
Barry, contenders, and ultimately your man of the match.
There's lots of contenders. We've talked about Sami Lange. Matt Whitley has been selfless in his endeavour. I always like watching a match when Michael McAlorum is playing and he's heavily involved.
But you're going to give the man of the match to the winger who scored a hat-trick.
But I am going to ignore the wingers because that's their job, Wellesley. I'm going to give the man of the match to the most influential player. He was there or thereabouts to get hold of that ball, Sam Tompkins. An absolutely top-class, masterclass in how to play full-back by that man.
First game back in 5 months.
5 months.
I mean, the guy doesn't look like he's missed a beat.
And doesn't look like he's played a game either. He's not out of breath. He doesn't look fatigued. He's the type of player that really wound me up when I played with him.
Do you know, when I speak to Steve McNamara in the week about Sam Tompkins coming back, he was just very honest and said he is the key.
The fitter players
in everything that we do.
Yeah, the fitter players now in this modern game will find themselves in that right place consistently. It's unfair to look at Sam Tompkins and look at what he's had in front of him with Wakefield, because they have been hamstrung with the rotation, fit players, things that have gone against them, luck and by their own design. But this is a good side.
Well, Davis here,
to be a great
I'm going to say, has he got the pace to go past Jay Pitts? He hasn't. And then he makes the mistake, and Wakefield will get the ball back with Kyle Wood, and they have less than 60 seconds to try and put some points on the board. So briefly, boys, we've talked a lot about Catalan. Is this for Chris Chester one that he just consigns to the dustbin of rugby league history and moves on?
Yeah, he probably will do. There'll be a lot of discussions that will take place, but there's not too much he's going to pick out of this.
Well, there's always lessons to be learned. I think there's certainly mitigation in defeat, but if there's one element that wasn't right even before all the injuries, and that was their attack in the final third, that didn't look sharp, and it didn't look sharp last week either. That'll be an area of concern for him.
Fafita still going, and still going, David Fafita. Well done him in the very last minute. And he's had to put in a big shift today, David Fafita, because of all the injuries. Miller finds Navarrete, and it's the last play, and it may well be the last play of the game. I think that is the last play of the game. What a scintillating performance for Steve McNamara and his Catalan Dragons. 58 points to 0. Hat-tricks for Tom Davis